Welcome to Folklore and Fairytale Friday with me, Morgan, where I talk about mythology while doing my makeup. Sometimes we discuss urban legends and I sprinkle in some skincare here and there, but this is basically like a storytelling format with some beauty mixed in. Now, this is a series I had started like over a year ago. I actually started it on my main channel, The Beauty Breakdown. I did an episode or two here on my booktube/storytelling channel, and then I just kind of fell off. And to be honest, it's mainly because these are a lot of work. I have to do a lot of research, and I want to do these videos justice because I feel like these are really fun videos for me to do, but I want to make sure that I'm doing them right. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about La Lechuza, which is a Mexican folklore, and I was actually suggested this by one of you guys, so I am definitely taking requests on future Folklore and Fairytale Friday topics, so leave it in the comment section down below if you guys like this video or these style of videos, what type of urban legends or mythology, folklore, fairy tales, whatever you'd like me to discuss, and I will be checking out your feedback in the comment section. So these will be a bit of a work in progress. I am constantly changing my filming, my setup, editing, all that kind of stuff. So let's just go ahead and jump into it and see how it goes. So the products that I'm using in this video, I will be listing them down in the description box below. These videos are really more about the story, and the makeup is just something for you to look at and to hide this angry pimple. Our story today starts in Robstown, Texas, 1975. Now, Robstown is a city in Texas. It's a small town and still is to this day. And back in 1975, well, it was a small town, so as I'm sure you can imagine, news travels very fast. So when residents started reporting that they were seeing this huge half-bird, half-human-like creature flying over the city of Robstown, as you can imagine, everyone went a little crazy. As reports started flooding into the local police station, they varied from saying that it was a giant bird-looking creature with a human face, or it was a bird-like creature with human feet, or animal feet. There was always something kind of off with the creature being reported. Some reports even said that this creature had a gorilla-like face with red eyes. So this bird was pretty dang ugly, as you can imagine. Now, despite the range in reports, one thing was for sure. There was something crazy flying all over Robstown and basically doing its own little tour. It came back again very quickly and actually spread to another town just west of Robstown called Banquet. Reports started ranging even further west of that city in the city of Alison. Now, as the sightings started to move more westward, so did the seriousness of the reports and the people reporting the sightings. And it really started to catch fire when two policemen reported their own personal sightings of seeing a giant bird flying over a lagoon. And they reported saying that this bird had a wingspan of 10 to 12 feet. Now, if you're like me, I have no frame of reference how big that is. And actually, a wandering albatross is a bird that also has a 12-foot wingspan. And just so you guys can understand how big this is, a wandering albatross has the largest wingspan of existing birds today. And I'll also put some pictures of the wandering albatross next to some humans and objects and things like that so you guys can kind of get the picture. This thing was huge. I mean, I'm sure these policemen were like, yep, that's a problem. These sightings continued into 1976, and on New Year's Day, 1976, two teenage girls reported a sighting. The names of the teenage girls was Tracy Lawson and Jackie Davies, and upon seeing this creature, Tracy actually ran inside to grab some binoculars and was able to confirm that she was seeing an abnormally large bird. Now, the following day, their parents actually went out to where they spotted this bird and found three-toed tracks in the dirt that were extremely large, therefore confirming that there was, in fact, something weird going on. After the sighting by these two teenage girls, not even a week later, on January 7th, 1976, another local resident named Alvarico Guajardo reported hearing something slam onto the side of his trailer. When he went outside to investigate, he said that he also saw a very large bird-like creature. The creature that he found himself face to face, he was quoted as saying it was a bird, but not a bird, like something from another planet. He said that its eyes were really large, almost the size of silver dollars, that had a large, long, skinny beak, but that it also resembled a bat. Now, the strangest and most scary occurrence actually happened to another resident almost a week later after that occurrence. The resident's name was Armando Grimaldo, and he had actually stepped outside to smoke a cigarette when he heard a loud flapping noise right above him. And when he turned around to look, he said that the only thing he really saw were, at that point, large talons. As he ran away from whatever was basically dive bombing him from this guy, he was able to kind of duck under cover and find a little reprieve under a tree. And some of his neighbors actually heard him screaming for help and heard the commotion, ran out and discovered Armando underneath this tree, clearly and visibly very shaken. He also was said to have tattered clothes and scratches along his back. He was then taken to Wallasey County Hospital, and there he said that whatever had attacked him was also gorilla-like in appearance, had leathery-like skin, and was also bat-like. Now, the occurrence with Armando was definitely the craziest attack by this bird-like creature in the Texas area. But there were also some other reportings of sightings by several different people of the towns from all different variations of life. On January 18th, two sisters said that they had seen a large bird flying by a ranch near Poteet, and this same bird was seen by two soldiers. So this was witnessed by two different groups of people, by two different types of people, if that makes sense. Then on February 24th, 3 different teachers said that they had seen a large bird flying near a ranch by Harlingen. On top of that, these stories were even featured on the Johnny Carson show and spoofed in a way. And then, similarly to the beginning of the reportings, the sightings abruptly stopped. Now, Captain Melvin Arnold of the Robstown Police basically kind of shrugged it off as some pranks gone wrong or kids taking it a little bit too far. In fact, he basically based all of these sightings on a prank that some kids pulled, and they called the local police, and they basically like made a dummy bird thing, weird looking thing, and then hung it in a tree, called the police, and basically the police were like, cool, pulled it out of the tree, and then took it to the police station. Now, it was never really determined what was terrorizing these small cities in Texas from 1975 to 1976, but due to Texas being heavily steeped in Mexican folklore, some think it was La Lechuza. Now, Lechuza have several different origin stories. Some say it's basically a woman who sold her soul to the devil in exchange for mysterious powers. Others say that it's essentially a woman who has been wronged, whether that was from she was killed by villagers because they thought she was a witch and therefore she's avenging her own death, or she's avenging the death of her child, which either in some cases was also killed by angry villagers or even drunks. So in some cases, it's that La Lechuza can target drunks of certain villages. Most can agree La Lechuza usually comes out in the form of an owl. Again, sometimes the owl is said to be white, and then other times the owl is said to be black. So sometimes that's a determining factor, like black owls are definitely La Lechuza, while, you know, other people think white owls are Lechuza. So maybe just, you know, around owls, proceed with caution, because La Lechuza is probably not something you want to mess with, and I'll let you know why. Now, whatever her owl-like appearance is, she is not something you want to mess with. I mean, she is mean, and evidently she is large enough or strong enough to pick up full-grown men with her talents, and sometimes she's even said to have shape-shifting abilities. So she does have the ability to shape-shift back into a woman. Some people think that she might be an owl by night, woman by day, and that she's almost using her soul or spirit to control this owl-like creature, or that she's actually shape-shifting into the owl itself. Now, how you know if Lechuza is around is essentially you'll hear a whistling noise at night. Either that, or she tends to mimic the sounds of a crying baby, therefore luring unsuspecting people into wooded areas to kind of investigate where these mysterious whistling sounds or baby cries are coming from. Now, if you are to hear these sounds at night, the last thing you want to do is investigate where the noise is coming from, which I feel like is pretty common knowledge whenever you hear something suspicious at night leading into a heavily wooded area. So don't go there. Now, besides luring people into the woods to her deadly grasp to either drink their blood, kill them, steal their soul, whatever the Lechuza decides to do, these are also supposed to be signs for storms or bad omens. So if you hear whistling noises at night coming from the woods, it's said that someone around you is going to die, or same thing goes with the baby crying. And then also, if you think La Lechuza is in your proximity, it could be signaling that a storm is literally a brewing. If you have determined La Lechuza is in your area, there are some things you can do to protect yourself. La Lechuza are said to not like salt, so one of the methods you can do is actually sprinkle salt around or by your windows. It's also said that you can take a rope and tie 7 knots into it and hang it on your door as a sign of acknowledgement of their presence and also a sign of respect. On top of that, there are some prayers that can be recited. A lot of times they have to be said in Spanish and also recited in reverse. So that's also something you want to maybe learn and put in your tool belt if you're worried about La Lechuza. They also evidently don't like cussing. So they're big language prudes. So if you cuss at them, it evidently wards them away. The last thing you ever want to do is to, like I said earlier, investigate and go near one, or make eye contact if you find yourself face to face with them. If you do make eye contact, it's considered like inviting them to do whatever they want with you. So definitely don't do that. Now, one of the things I was kind of curious about when I was doing research for this video is why owls of all creatures? Owls are actually seen in a lot of different cultures and countries as a sign of bad omens, death, destruction, storms. A lot of negative things are commonly associated with owls in general, and this has been for centuries. It might be because owls are respected for their silent killing abilities. They're also nocturnal creatures, and since they do have the front-facing eyes, it's thought that they are kind of all-seeing in a sense. Some of this can be seen in different cultures like Native American Hopi culture, where owls are actually seen as messengers and guardians of the underworld. A lot of cultures do view owls as almost unclean entities, and they're often associated with things like witch doctors or shamans. And on top of that, owls are a lot of times associated with the femininity of spirits or feminine spirits, and that might also be because of the connotation that witches hold with femininity. Owls having mythical abilities actually can be traced back all the way in Mexican folklore to Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan is actually an area that was founded around 400 BC and is said to be the religious center in Mexican highlands. In Mesoamerican iconography, owls are actually seen a lot of times as messengers for the underworld. Mictlantecutli, who is the god of death in Aztec culture, is actually depicted a lot of times with an owl as his sidekick. So let's go ahead and go back to Robstown and discuss what really happened in Texas in 1975. Dr. Don First actually postulated that what was seen in Robstown was actually an Andean condor. Andean condors actually have a wingspan of about 10 feet, but how an Andean condor, which is native to South America, ended up in Texas, he has no idea, nor are there any theories. Not long after the end of these sightings, a wild jabiru was found in the area, and they are a quite large bird, being 5 foot tall and having a wingspan of 9 feet. To give also another frame of reference, I'm like 5'3", so this baby was only a couple inches shorter than me. So if I encountered a giant bird like that, yeah, I'd probably think it was a wild cryptid or alien-like creature that I had stumbled across. So what do you guys think? Do you guys attribute all of these sightings to a wild bird that is not native to the area, or La Lechuza, which again, because of the area, has a lot of Mexican influences? So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Also leave it in the comment section down below, besides your guys' feedback on what you guys think of this series, future topics to do in this series, but also let me know if you guys have had any encounters or family members that have warned you guys about La Lechuza. I have actually talked about this topic on my Twitch live stream, and some of you guys had said that your grandmas or women in your family had warned you about La Lechuza and like staying indoors at night or actually hearing whistling noises or babies crying. I would love to hear you guys' just personal stories if you have any. And yeah, I'm excited to kick this series back up. I love doing this. I think it's fun to create a different makeup look as well as research and talk about different topics and cultures and mythology, folklore, fairy tales, urban legends, all that kind of good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I hope you guys are happy and healthy. And don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.